There you go. There's multiple accounts. You have to make sure you log into the right account. Let's see. Okay, there you go. You're good to go. You're welcome, guys. This one, I can do remote. I got it.
I'm sorry.
Still working on getting to it.
He hasn't.
Mike, you're seeing this invitation.
I was having trouble with this computer. How many people do we have? Say something.
Say something. Okay. Hello.
I'm just very good. I'm hoping for better. It really could. We send it and it will. You may show us later. Oh, I don't know. No.
Did we ever get blue in there? Yeah, right. Should at least brought everybody some coffee.
I tell you, it's gonna call.
All right.
Well, I don't, really.
Chuck Robinson. The insurance guy.
It's supposed to be. We don't do.
Waiting on the.
What are they gonna do?
Hey, Jay,
Next Tuesday.
Yeah,
what are we waiting on, brother?
dude.
Okay.
Getting a bunch of text from her yesterday.
Do we need to call and find out?
Mhm.
I told Nick is calling him.
We have every other time. On everything, not just this. She was like,
These people. Else get on board, they only have even put the conduit with, she was.
No, I will. We gotta get this people.
Of course, Heather has money out of it. And she said, one of the people. Just so bad at her. When she was sitting.
Hey, man, that man say hi to you.
Oh, yeah. Some stuff. So you never had a lot in which triggers the bill. So Heather said, I'll set you up and say.
meeting manager.
So I Fixie cast and I was. She was, yeah, good.
Came in last night, put little tins of baking soda, charcoal, coffee grounds, everything I could look up on Google and said it got rid of smells. But it's like in the attic over there, look what the closet on this backside.
That's a lot.
If you see little tins of charcoal. We're not having a barbecue, it's actually looking for red hills.
Yes. She was playing. So she gave up several weeks.
There he is.
All right. Not like the last doorbell ring.
Late for the party. Oh.
You ready?
Good morning, everyone. It took us a few minutes to get all of our internet established and get the Zoom going. And looks like everybody's here. We have Commissioner Wilson, Commissioner Reeves, Commissioner Arthur, Commissioner Kowalski. We have a quorum is established. Fire Marshal Bill Hunter-Mueller and Commissioner David Douglas also with us. So this is special agenda. We're running a little bit late, so you won't forgive us on that. We just had to get sure everybody was here. The first thing we're going to consider special agenda. Consider and approve petition for creation of ESD number 8 in the service area of Plum Grove Volunteer Fire Department pursuant to Health and Safety Code Section 775.017, and consider order fixing boundaries after determining whether the creation of the district is feasible and whether it will promote public safety, welfare, health, and convenience of persons residing within the proposed district. So we have request, I have 6. We will allow those first before we.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So let me get some outlines on this. Subject.
Unmuted. I'm checking with it. It's not your computer now, it's them.
This foundation.
It's one of the two.
I don't know why they ain't got everybody else.
All right.
From that part.
Commissioners, you're live. I'm gonna turn you back on, but we can hear everything you're saying, okay? Can you hear us? Leon? Can y'all hear us? Okay. Yeah.
Jay? I can't hear y'all. There we go.
There we go. Can you hear us now? Yay.
All right, how about you, Boo? Can you hear us? Okay. I'm gonna ask you to stick to the subject. We're here to talk about an ESD. We're not here to talk about roads, we're not here to talk about a developer. We're not here to talk about road closures, we're not here to talk about drainage or anything else, just the formation of an ESD, okay? I'm gonna ask you to do that, just stick to the subject, okay? Not being mean about it, but that's just what we're here for. As we always say, you have 3 minutes, and I've got these neat little deals here. Today I have 4 of them, stacked up like a apartment almost. I'll give you 3 minutes, and first, Faye Kirsch, Ms. Kirsch. Goodness.
Oh, stupid, thank you.
Good morning.
Morning, Ms. Kirsch, how are you today?
I'm good. Finally glad to meet you.
I'm glad to meet you too.
I was gonna talk about the roads, but you said I can't, so I'll just.
We're just here really to talk about the ESD formation. That's
Okay,
it.
well, I pray this all let us have it because we need to get it.
I don't have no volume whatsoever.
Just a minute.
He can mute himself on his end. I don't know if he's aware of that.
I don't know. I'm gonna mute him right now. Go ahead.
All right, go ahead, Ms. Kirsch.
Well,
Okay.
we just need some help in Plum Grove and we want to, for you to vote this, ESD
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
in so that we can get some help.
Yes, ma'am.
And that's
Well, thank you so
what
much.
I can say.
Appreciate you coming today.
Thank you, appreciate
And
it.
hey, be sure to take care during the storm coming, okay? Get ready for it.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
We're gonna take care.
All righty. Lois Wood. Morning, Ms. Wood.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm blessed.
I am too. Every day I get up.
That's right, we're blessed. But I had something I wanted to say to Mr. Harris, but I guess he's not here.
No, ma'am.
But,
Well, we can't address it anyway. We're just talking about ESD today.
well, I know that, but this has to do with that. It leads up to that. How can our fire department and everything operate safely with our roads in the condition? I know we're not supposed to talk about the roads, but with potholes and stuff that we got there, how can they even operate safely to go pick up people or doing emergency runs and stuff? But we have suffered so much in Plum Grove. And we don't know how much more that we could take of all this, because why would we lose our fire department? The thing that we need the most to help us with our community. Why should we have to be fighting for it? You know, but I know the Lord told me the battle's not ours, but it's his. And I'm believing that God's gonna fight for Plum Grove. And I appreciate all y'all's help.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. Ms. Sager?
All right, so, Judge Knight, I've been here to talk to you a few times before. Every time I come, you tell me about the history of Plum Grove. All but one time, you've gone over the history of Plum Grove. Usually you use it to prove why the county doesn't have to work with us, but we'll talk about the ESD for now, like you said. So what I wanted to talk about today was just how proud I was when I moved to Liberty County from West Texas. I was a little overwhelmed by the water levels, but I was very proud because there's no better word. I'm kind of a history buff too, like you are, and there's no better word in the grand scheme of history than liberty. That's the most important thing, and that's what makes our country so unique and so great. And part of that uniqueness, the reason that liberty is so important is because as a country, as a people, for the first time in history, we had the ability to be responsible for our own liberty. And that means we're responsible for ourselves, we're responsible for our families, and we're responsible for our communities. Those are the three principles of liberty. So my point today is just that I would like for the county to vote to let us in Plum Grove have the liberty to vote on our ESD. Because since I've been here 4 years, I've watched Plum Grove fight tooth and nail to take care of and take responsibility for our community with no help whatsoever. And so I'd like for you to let us have the liberty to vote on this issue.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you coming. Jacob Clay. Morning, Mr. Clay.
Morning, Judge.
How you doing today?
Doing good. It's not my purpose to waste y'all's time this morning. I had to take off work to be here as well, so my time is valuable as well. I want to set a small foundation, and I will stick to the issue. But I allowed a family member to come in my house years ago, and my family member had no intentions on doing right. They were alcoholic. I co-signed on a truck for them. I done a lot of stuff for them. And the whole time they were there, they lied to me. The whole time they were there, they were deceitful, and they took advantage of the opportunity. And I will step foot on the city council of Plum Grove in November, and I'm going to give Mr. Harris the benefit of the doubt to do right. But I want to go back to, there's 10 people here. I might be wrong on the count, but I believe there's 10 people here for the city of Plum Grove. And just this one person right here has been there over almost 70 years in Plum Grove. And I believe that we're here to stand up for the city of Plum Grove. I believe that we should have a say in what goes on in the city of Plum Grove. And I believe that the developer was invited in, never with the intentions to hand the city over to the developer. And that's where we stand right now. You say to stick to just the ESD, but this is a much bigger battle for us. It's not just about the ESD, because once the city starts allowing small things to disappear from us, it will all be taken away from us. So I want to have the right to vote. The citizens are here. It don't look like much, but there should be 1 million votes just in that one vote right there. There's long-term citizens here that are trying to fight for what's left of Plum Grove, and we need that right to be able to vote. Thank you.
Mr. Clay, I appreciate you stepping up to get on council. That's a tough job. It really is. I was on Dayton City Council. I guarantee it was never fun. Ms. Reed.
Yes, sir.
Well, I didn't think I was gonna get to be here today, and I was gonna have to take my grandson to the doctor. But anyway, I made it. And as far as our ESD, we have taken care of these subdivisions, or whatever you want to call them, since day one. Our fire department has been out there nearly every day doing something. We have volunteers from that area that serve on our fire department. Shouldn't we, I mean, what is Mr. Harris gonna do if, okay, he says it's gonna be another year before he has a fire department. Okay. Are we expected to still take care of his properties between now and then? Or how does that work? Shouldn't we, as a community, his people included, be able to vote on what is right for this community? And that's basically all I have to say. We just want the right to vote, whether it passes or whether it doesn't. We would like to have that right.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Donald Inlet. Morning, Mr. Inlet. Good morning this morning.
I'm doing fine.
Good.
Thank you folks for having me today. My family's been in the Plum Grove area for 170 years that we know of. We've never seen nothing like this. It was a quiet, easy, laid-back community, and now it's just the opposite. All you hear is cars, gunshots, ambulances, fire trucks, everything you can think of. And today we're here about the ESD. It's not just about the ESD, folks. It's about the right to vote for the ESD. Now, Plum Grove has got all this stuff, but you folks out in Targeton and you folks here in Dayton, y'all need to be paying attention to what's going on. Targeton Fire Department, you're next. You better be paying attention. Your voters better be paying attention. You know, in the Bible, it talks about a man named Judas. He betrayed the very person that put him into power for 30 shekels of silver. Today, we're going to see how many Judases that we have and how many patriots that are standing up for the voters for this community and for this county. Today, we're going to see who's going to stand up for the people of Plum Grove and who's not going to. And we're not asking for an ESD. We're asking for the right to vote on an ESD. That's all we're asking for. And we're going to find out today who's for us and who's against us. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? Since we had a late start, anybody else, I will allow it today.
Judge, I'd like to say something if you
Yes,
don't mind. So the only fallacy with what they're saying, I understand the right to vote, so it's an important thing and it's a good thing. But the fallacy with that whole right to vote argument is 3/4 of the people that will live in the district, that own property in the district, don't live there today, right? And so 3/4 of the people that will have a voice in the future that already purchased property in the district, they're not represented by a vote because they're not there yet, right? So they already own land there, but they don't live there yet. So the whole idea of a vote is a fallacy at best because the majority of the landowners that are in the proposed district don't live in the district yet. So to me, that puts the responsibility on the court to do the right thing. And if and when at some time in the future, when those people that own land in the district actually live in the district, then it would be a more appropriate time to have a vote, right? But if you have 3/4, 75% of the people that own land in the district don't live in the district yet, then I think to have a vote today is premature. Thank you.
All righty.
Judge, can I readdress that?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Harris is talking about future, okay? We're talking about right now.
Today.
We need to be able to vote. We've lived there, my family, I'm like Donald, my family has lived there over 200 years. We would like to have that right to vote. Why should we wait for future people to come in? If they don't live there, what difference does it make at this point? We need to vote. That's all I gotta say.
Can you give me your name? She's spoken already.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, you mind if I say one thing?
Feel free to.
I disagree with Mr. Harris on that, because he's continuously went to the city and tried to remove them people from the city limits. And so I believe that he has stripped their right to vote away, not the citizens of Plum Grove. Thank you.
I'm gonna let County Attorney, Mr. Poston, talk to y'all a little bit about this issue. There's some legalities involved here. I want to make sure you understand these fully before we even consider a vote. And it, 5 lines you need to understand. An ESD, Emergency Services District, okay, there's boundaries to be included. Not just people, but total boundaries, land, area to be considered. I'm gonna let Mr. Poston describe these issues to you so you understand these, that
when the, and hopefully everyone, Leon, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Matthew.
All right.
come on up if you'd like.
Sure. The issue is about the sufficiency of the legal description that was attached with the petition. So the petition that we had has described it in the petition language itself as the service area of the Plum Grove Volunteer Fire Department, okay? Now, under the statute, under the Health and Safety Code, it says it is sufficient if the description says it's coextensive with the boundaries of a political subdivision of the state. So if the Plum Grove Volunteer Fire Department were a political subdivision of the state, that would have been sufficient, but it's not. Now there's a longer story here, and I've been working with the folks with the fire department for at least a month now, trying to get more information on what means and bounds and legal description they would have for that service area. To date, and what was attached to the petition is the service area map that is kept by the Texas A&M Forestry Service. Okay. Now, those who have worked with volunteer fire departments in the past know that those maps are drawn with the idea of helping 911 be able to respond to calls. They're not taxing anybody's property. Volunteer fire department never taxes anybody's property. What they want to know is, and what 911 needs to know is, when I have a fire or wreck in a certain area, who's going to get toned out? And that's how those maps are generated. No, typically, meets and bounds aren't drafted for it. And by meets and bounds, I mean a description that says, all right, you're going to start at a found object at this point, and then you're going to travel north 89 degrees east, 1,000 feet in this direction, that sort of thing. Those very turn-by-turn based issues. From last month, I've reached out with the Liberty CAD. I've given them the map that was provided in the petition. I said, is this enough? Can y'all take this, determine this property is included, this property will be subject to the tax or not? And they said, it's just not enough for us. And so we've gone back and forth. Last night, actually, I received a huge bundle of meets and bounds. And I'm not a surveyor, but I can tell you that in reading those meets and bounds, it includes areas that are not on the map that was provided in the petition, and it leaves out areas that were included on the map. We just have an accuracy problem. And so, Commissioner's Court today has a duty to, quote, fix the bounds. That does not relieve the duty of the petitioner to supply an adequate legal description. In fact, we're not in a large enough size county under the Health and Safety Code to change those meets and bounds at all. In counties with 3.3 million or more, Commissioner's Court can come in and say, looking at, we've got this ESD here, this ESD, or this city, or whatever, and alter things. We're not allowed to do that. They don't have any discretion with regards to boundaries. And so that means we have to stick with what's in the petition, despite what I believe is the best efforts of the folks who are urging this. It's just not enough. And here's why that's a problem. It's along every part of this boundary, every one of those property owners would potentially have a right to sue. And who are they going to sue? They're going to sue the ESD. And they're going to sue the CAD. And they're going to say, you have included me with an improper taxation. My property shouldn't be included. Y'all will get mired in lawsuits for years and years over an inadequate legal description. You have to have a legal description. And it's just as simple as that.
How do we get it?
Texas Forest Service is not a legal description.
It is not. It's just a map.
What's the definition of legal description? And tell us what it is.
It is, like I was describing.
From bounds, nobody's gonna pay from bounds from an ESD. That's crazy.
Well, I mean, so the other alternative is suggested in the statute, right? Choose the boundaries of a political subdivision in that area, okay? And see if you can make that work, if it meets with your requirements. It does not have to be.
Come back with that, and they're gonna say, well, that's not even Texas Forest Service.
What's the
No.
definition of a political subdivision?
A political subdivision is typically a taxing it. So cities, counties, I believe.
Quality is.
Sometimes hospital district would be the other.
Hospital.
Even though that they've been servicing this area
Yes.
for how many years now?
Yeah, but think about the purpose of a volunteer fire department.
Right.
The purpose is
To service.
to service, that's right.
Right.
But they're not gonna get any trouble, right? If, whoops, we went a little too far, we went into
Yeah.
Cleveland or something like
If,
that.
if we're not in that area, why should it be serviced? But who would take care of it? Because,
That's right,
at this point, there's nothing else there.
that's right. And I don't disagree with you. All I'm saying is, so for the purpose that map was created, it was a promise from a group of volunteers to say, I'm gonna go to calls in this area.
Right.
I'm going there.
So the promise has been kept since 1982.
I have no reason to disagree with that. Not saying that whatsoever. But the problem is now we're going to say these specific tracks, this one, not this one, this one, not this one is included. Or this large tract, this percentage is included, but not others, okay? And that has to be done along the entire edge of that boundary, all 52, 53 square miles or so. Okay, so I looked at the meets and bounds last night, hoping, maybe you can get an outline, but after reading it for a couple hours, it became clear that I didn't know this, because the old city of Plum Grove city limits were included in the
Right.
old city. Plum Grove
Until
was
we
quite
got
a bit
sued
bigger.
by the developer, yeah.
No, I mean from 69. Yeah, I mean, it reached all the way up to 59. It touched. Until I shake your head.
Yeah, it went all the way in the hardest acres and everywhere.
Yeah, so, but now, in that area in particular is not included in the Texas A&M forestry service.
Right.
Okay, and so that's a problem. So on one hand, you've gone out and got a petition that says, everybody within this area, you're gonna be taxed and you're gonna get services. And then when it comes time to describe that, you're saying, oh no, it looks like this.
Well, how do
And so
we
that's
go about
a-
doing that?
So this is, the cheapest way
Yeah.
is to find a political subdivision, a voting precinct map, right? The voting precinct maps have to be pretty precise too.
Okay.
And see if you can find a way to make it close to what you're looking for.
Okay.
Or hire a surveyor. If you, it is, I know, it's not, it ain't cheap. It isn't. And have them trace it out.
But as far as today, us just getting the right to vote on this, to see if we even gonna pass the
We can't, it's
It
a
shouldn't
legal.
have anything to do with all this.
Well, it should, because at this point, the commissioner's court will be done with it. And our duty today, commissioner's court duty today is to fix those boundaries.
Okay, so if we did the precinct
Yes.
map, okay, Will that satisfy you? And we can go ahead and go to the
I thought
vote?
about that too, but the problem is now we've got, well, we don't have the commissioners court don't have the ability to change at this point. We're bound by the petition and we have to review the petitions already submitted. So and I don't enjoy telling you this. I can see how
Why was
much
this
wrong.
brought up today? Why hadn't we learned all this?
Why does it say you're
Somebody tell us.
determining the meets and bounds on the agenda if there was never any intention to determine the meets and bounds?
Well, now hold on, say that again.
On the agenda, it talks about determining
Fixing
the
the boundaries.
boundaries, but there was never any intention to determine the boundaries.
No, we were never.
The intention was for y'all to tell us that you can't help us in any way, that you can't allow us to vote.
Well, this is my personal intention. I can speak to that. And that was, I've been over backwards trying to get notice published. I worked extensively with Lee to make sure, and I've spent many, many hours making sure that we can get to this day. And I've done everything I can to work with volunteer fire department to make sure that we had something today. So I'm personally disappointed that it hasn't lined up. But I assure you, it's not.
My fire department's screwed since 1982, whenever they started. And we started it with our own money in our community. And because we're gonna serve somebody else's future community, then we're screwed because of it. That ain't right.
Why is it
I
all
don't
of a
care
sudden
what the
our
boundaries
party
are. We care about voting on the ESD.
If I may, I will say this, he has worked with us a lot. Been very helpful, been very honest. I will say that much. I wouldn't make Mr. Poston a punching bag. I would say in the Texas Government Code 2254 .021, where the definitions are. If you go through to political subdivision, go down to 4, where it lists out everything. If you go down to O says a fire prevention district.
Right, yeah, but this isn't, it's not, you're not a fire prevention district right now, you're a VFD, it's a different type of entity. There used to be, I think 4 ESDs, right? Yeah, there's fire prevention districts, rural, or that's all it was, rural fire prevention districts, those sorts of things. But it was a taxing entity, not unlike the ESD.
Well, one of our fire department at this particular time under attack to lose our fire department when we done nothing but good. His subdivision and in our community saved many lives, I'm sure.
Well,
and we got a flood probably coming up, and we get this hurricane, and all that water will come into Plum Grove off of his canal like it did before.
Yeah.
He probably has never seen or had to bury his house in all of his 40-something years of work going because the flood took everything. I have had that with my children. It's not something you want to go through. And if we get this hurricane in here with all this rain that might come, we have a chance of flooding again. Who's going to help? Our fire department is the main ones that's out there. So why are we under attack for losing our fire department?
I can't speak, I don't know.
No, but I mean, why don't he build his own fire department out there? He's got everything else. He's got all the money. We don't have any money.
Right.
We shouldn't have to support him like we've been doing.
Well, I'll say this, yes, the development, the subdivisions have strained every public resource, period.
Oh, yeah.
That's just how it is. It's strained the county, it's strained the school district.
Yes.
It's strained your fire department. It's just the nature of the.
And every time
But-
he comes before this court, he gets his way.
Just like
Every
in an
time.
hour.
But
you're gonna
just-
vote
y'all-
for him
one at a
to
time, please.
Get another plaque.
But, these are problems and we need to work together.
Yeah, they're a big
This
problem.
court, the city and the developer, we need to figure out solutions and.
I agree, we need to work
tried.
together, but it needs to be both sides, not just one side.
Don't disagree. Don't disagree.
No. So far, it's just been on one side, but both sides is fixing to start, well, taking care of problems.
I think we.
The whole people in the community is sick and tired of what's going on. We're fixing to stand up for our rights, one way or the other, with this court or without it. Something's fixing to happen in Plum Grove. Mark that down today, with today's date, August the 25th. Something's fixing to happen in Plum Grove and it's gonna be on y'all's heads if something happens out there. The people of Plum Grove are sick and tired of getting run over. We're not having it anymore, none.
I understand where you're coming from.
Every time we get a phone call from somebody, well, you need to compromise, you need to compromise, you need to do this. No, no more, none, we're done.
When we lose our fire department and people drowned or they burn up in a fire, it's gonna be on your heads.
Ms. Sager, do you even know how much we donate to the fire department a year?
No, sir, I don't. but we are at risk of losing our fire department if we don't get the ESD.
Explain something
Do
to
you
me.
understand that?
Mr. Huggenmuller, can you hear me? In our budget, how much does the county provide to Plum Grove Fire Department?
$48,000.
How much?
$48,000 a year.
49,000?
48,000.
48,000. Okay.
I know it's with the fuel.
Seriously.
Well,
Because I remember you called the Davis.
I'm just saying, what do y'all contribute?
We contribute.
We built it.
We're
From the
here
ground up.
We built it, and we gotten grants, we have gotten, the city gives them money every month. We asked the POA out in the subdivisions to match what we give them, and they said, no, they wasn't gonna match it. I mean, that was all, we tried.
I'm just trying to make the point that Ms. Sager.
I know exactly what you're saying.
Saying that we do support.
But it's not gonna be enough.
And the fire department's gonna put us.
Well, I guess it would be if they don't service his communities. If they just service our Plum Grove area,
But you're
which is
making
only
over
2
40
square
runs a
miles.
month out there, and 40 runs a month is gonna cost you a minimum, just in gas and diesel and driving out there, 40 runs a month, it costs you a minimum $100 every time they go out there. That's $4,000 or $4,000 or $40,000 a month, whatever the numbers are there, just for them to cover that area out there. So what the county's giving them is not even covering their fuel costs. Most, that's all the folks that's just volunteering their time to do it.
Well, if you say it's 4,000, I believe you're right on target, because it's $48,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm talking about how much it costs the fire department to go every time they make a run.
So we do cover the fuel cost.
Yes.
You know, the whole thing is here, and I understand what Matthew's point is. I don't have a problem with the ESD at all. It's the legal description. That's it. That's all there is to it. It's a taxing entity, y'all. And you know that not only will your ESD go to court, and your city will go to court, developer will go to court, we'll go to court, everybody's gonna get called in because somebody's gonna get taxed that thinks they're not involved. And it happens. Excuse me. I would prefer to get this thing perfect. Now, unfortunately, this ESD petition landed here in the courthouse. Nobody contacted us about it. I never talked to anybody about an ESD.
Oh, no, sir.
Well, who did you talk to?
You got emails asking for the paperwork for ESD, I promise you that, sir.
Then you got those from Mr. Poston, correct?
There were emails to your office. I'm
Yeah,
not trying to be arguing.
No, I'm just explaining to you. Anything legal, we forward to Mr. Poston's office, and then it's forwarded to you. So you got an answer. Okay? I'm not trying to stop this thing. I want it to be right. I don't want anybody getting sued. I don't like to go to court. I get sued at least 3 times a week. It's not fun. I give them to Matthew. It's not fun at all. Have somebody show up in my office wearing shrimp boots and say, "Are you Judge Knight? You've been served." You know, like, of all things, thank you. It happens all the time, but that's part of the job. Why
So
not get?
I've got a question about that.
Mhm.
If we bring you another petition
Yes, ma'am.
stating this is the voting area,
Yes, ma'am.
can we go forward with that?
Probably not on this election, be next year.
It'd be the May election.
And that's fine. I just wonder, can we do that?
That's not for November. Yeah.
And it would go forward with that?
I can only tell you the legalities.
I know, and that's the reason I'm asking you.
It could, yes.
Okay.
You give us good, Clint takes a look at at all the signatures, blesses that. I'll take a look at the legal description, we bless that, and yeah, go forward.
I'm all for an ESD. ESDs serve the people. They are a great tool to use. I've always been in agreement with ESDs. I just think until we get boundaries marked out in this is not a good time for this ESD until we get those needs and bounds plotted out so that CAD and other taxing entities will know who to tax and who not to tax. Then I'm great. ESDs are really good.
Don't we get taxed anyway?
Maybe from the city of Plum Grove and the county.
No, the county taxes.
In the city, Texas, and the.
Everybody pays county taxes. Yes,
No,
ma'am.
I was wondering if we get taxed, then why can't we get our roads fixed?
Yes, ma'am. Oh. I can give you a good answer. Ms. Sager's not going to hear any history about it, but I can give you a good answer.
Well, I've heard it all before.
I know. It,
I'm sorry.
no, ma'am, it may as well clear the air anyway. You're a city that was incorporated in 1968, okay? But you never had a property tax for your city, ever, until this year. Okay? As a county, you are a legal municipality, type B city, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so, yeah. I know it's not home.
No, it's type B. And after looking at that, the county can't do anything in your city unless we have an interlocal agreement. And we agree, let me explain this interlocal agreement, how it works. We have to agree and you have to agree. An interlocal agreement is a wonderful tool, but each thing you do in the realm of an interlocal agreement has to be agreed upon. If I fix one stop sign, we have to agree on it. You have to, I have to. Who's gonna buy the stop sign and who's gonna set the stop sign for you? It's not just a blanket coverage for everything. So it's a legal issue because the statute reads, we have to do it perfect. Again, if we don't do it perfect, you go to jail. Somebody's gonna go to jail. I don't wanna go. I mean, I've never seen, I worked in one, but I've never seen one behind the other side of the bars. That is the problem right now, is you've been a city, you've been a city since 1968, but you've never had a property tax levied on the occupants of your city to help in these endeavors, okay? I don't know how it was done back when Mr. Hunt was your commissioner. I don't even know really how it was done after Melvin was there, because Eddie left shortly after I got here. I got here in 2015. That's Plum Grove history, and I can't go back and change it. All I can do is work forward from 2015 and do the best I can. But I still have to follow the law. I don't have a choice. And the law still deals with, in this petition itself, we have to have a legal description. I don't want to break that either because, again, I don't want to go to court. I'm in court already. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. It,
I've got one question, but to Matthew and to Claire. From the way I understand what you said, without a clear legal boundary description, the taxing authority wouldn't know who to tax.
That's it.
And also, you wouldn't know who would be eligible to vote in that one.
That is correct. Yes, that is correct. I don't know who the boundaries make up the voting roll.
Yes.
That tells me who gets to vote on this and who doesn't. Without that, I have no role.
So do we go to the county clerk to get the voting rolls?
No, ma'am, that is my office, but I have to have a boundary, tells me who gets in that role. Follow?
Yeah, would that be our precinct or?
It could be.
Voting precinct?
It could be, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, if you clearly define it as that.
If you define it that way, then yes, he would then know what to do, the CAB would also know. That's right.
Well, how does people, if we don't know how to vote on this, how do we get to vote for any other election?
Well, it depends. So I mean, if we vote for the governor, it's never really a question. Plum Grove is in Liberty County, which is in the state of Texas, there's no boundary question,
Yeah,
so
you have
that's.
precinct, what is it, 26, I think, or 23 or 26?
26, I believe.
Voting precinct.
That's right, and those boxes are very well, well marked.
Okay. I don't see what the problem is, why we couldn't use that.
But that's future.
You could on a future petition.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it won't be heard before next year.
And I'll be here waiting for it to hit this year.
All this on the last day.
Yeah.
We will see how many Judases are among us today.
Talking about taxing entities, just I want to throw this out there. I live in the city of Dayton, lived there for 65 years. I pay city tax. I pay a county tax. I pay a hospital district tax. I get city services, I don't get county services, but I still have to pay that tax to the county. But I look at it this way, I drive on county roads all throughout the county, so there I am, paying my way just to be on a county road someplace, no matter what it looks like.
And as you know, that's what we've tried, that's what we've been trying.
Right, and nobody likes taxes, period, I darn sure don't, but here they come January, we'll be seeing them again. And for y'all, this is the first year you will pay a property tax for the city of Plum Grove. Since its inception in 1968, it's just one of those things that, hallelujah, you did it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're not gonna be making a lot of inhabitants there in Plum Grove happy by having that.
No, it didn't make anybody happy, not even me.
Yeah.
And I voted for it.
Yes, ma'am, but it will enable you to take care of your business inside the lines of the city of Plum Grove municipality, okay? Same thing for anybody else. Hardin's the same way. Ames, the same way.
I do have one more question for Mr. Poston.
Yes, ma'am.
Does the city's laws supersede the county's?
It depends. I mean, which one?
Like our roads and this kind of stuff? Does city?
Generally speaking, yes, in the city,
Okay,
generally, yeah.
Okay.
There, you know.
I know, but it was just, you know,
But yeah.
yeah.
And generally speaking, the city's powers are much greater.
They are. They are. I mean, you have the power to impose restrictions.
Yes.
You can say, you can't have a chicken coop in your backyard, but you don't have those yet. And it's been since 68, you have the ability to have restrictions, but nobody ever even wrote them up. And to this day,
We have a lot now, we have a lot of ordinances and they're all recorded, everything is done legally. So, yeah.
That's things that we probably should have looked at when I was still in elementary school. Well, 68, let me think, no, I was fixing to get out of high school. So,
Well, I was just a young chick at that time, so.
those are things that, you know, you look at now and go, I wish I would have. And my point with this is to other cities or other settlements in the county that are just like you.
Oh, yeah.
That are just like you. I'm talking Targeted, I'm talking about Devers, you know, that direction. And Devers is a city, municipality. But Raywood, you know.
Targeted.
Well, Targeted especially. Those areas are in the same boat that y'all are in.
Well, actually, ours
They're
is
not-
better at this point.
Except y'all are a city and Target is not. And here's the problem there, when you start looking at incorporating a location, how much can you actually take in? That's gonna be, the state has the say so.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of growing pains have been going on here, but it's.
And if it's unincorporated, they can do whatever.
Yes, ma'am, they sure can. I mean, we've got 4 things that we can actually have any say-so over. It's water, sewer, ditches, and roads. That's the county court's purview.
We got to stick to that, sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to kind of throw that out there that,
I will still come and have a visit with you.
Mr. Enlow, this is not a Judas moment. This is a legal moment. Understand that.
I'm sorry, I don't understand that.
Well, you need to, because I don't take that very lightly.
I don't say it very lightly.
And I'm a Christian, just like you are. But I don't take that lightly in that reference.
Can I say this? I
Yes,
was
ma'am.
living in Plum Grove when we became a city. And the reason we did, there was a man by the name of Mr. Doug Aiden.
Yes,
At
ma'am.
that time, he worked at the Harris County Courthouse. And he had a meeting with some of us folks in Plum Grove and said, if we did not become an incorporated city, Harris County would take us in because the Harris County line is not very far from the Liberty County line.
You're right.
And he said, if they take you in, they can, if you're not a city.
Yes, ma'am.
Then you're gonna pay all their taxes and you're gonna get no benefit from it. I think that very same thing happened to Kingwood before because they never became an incorporated city and Harris County took them over.
They did.
And so that's the reason we became a city. And at that time, it was just old folks that lived there and raising families and stuff. And it wasn't, I guess, important that we have all the bylaws and everything drawn up until all this subdivision stuff comes to Plum Grove
Yes,
like we have.
Yeah. And anytime you have a question, I'll be happy to talk to you about it. But There's just legalities that we have to follow. Period. That's all there is to it.
No, just so the other folks is following them too, the ones
Yes,
up the
ma'am.
subdivision, that's what matters.
Believe me, I've looked at every direction I could to do anything I could. And every time I get there, I hit a brick wall. It's the legal side. And I sure don't want, our DA calling me and saying, guess what? You're going to grand jury, okay? It's real simple. Okay, so we have consider approved petition for creation of VSD number 8 in the service area of the Plum Grove Volunteer Fire Department pursuant to Health and Safety Code Section 775.017, and consider order fixing boundaries of the district after determining whether the creation of the district is feasible and whether it will promote the public safety, welfare, health, and convenience of persons residing within the proposed district. And that comes down to what is the court's pleasure at this point.
Can we even make a vote on, since the petition is lacking meets and bounds? Matthew?
You could, vote to,
And we're voting to send this to the voters to create the ESD without meets and bounds. The actual petition itself is not in order. Thus,
so I think for this motion, would be under 775.017, a vote to deny the petition in its current form.
I make that motion.
Act on the advice of the county attorney, I'll second.
You need to remove it from the ballot too.
Yes, we will have to have a subsequent.
And I urge the citizens of Plum Grove, please get these meets and bounds and get them back and redo a petition to do this. It is greatly needed. Y'all do need it, and we all understand that. But until we get those, I can't see send those to the voters.
And I'm sure that, we'll work with you. I know Matthew will, and Clint will work with you on getting the boundaries set right.
Okay, got a motion and a second to deny this at this time. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, all opposed likewise. It's unanimous, it's denied at this time, and I hope we see it again soon. All right, and that will close the special agenda of County Commissioners Court today. Need a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Yes, second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
There it is, thank you. Yeah.
Very good.
Leon, James, you're gonna have to re-enter the next meeting.
Yeah, that's fine.
Lee, when you wave at them, I think you're waving at me.
Oh, yeah.